What's up, everyone? It is UFC 321 Fight Week. Tom Aspinall versus Gane taking place in Abu Dhabi. And today I'm going to be looking at the entire card. We'll get straight into it, starting with the early prelim opener. Jacqueline Amroim versus Mizuki Inoue. Jacqueline Amroim, she has been in the cage a lot more than Mizuki Inoue, to say the least. Mizuki Inoue has 3 fights in the last 6 years. Her last fight coming in 2023 against an opponent who's no longer even in the UFC. Jacqueline Amroim, though, she's on a bit of a tear. She has 4 straight wins, 1 by KO, 3 by submission. The last 3 coming by submission as well. So she's really found her strength in her grappling. Mizuki also, 9 of her wins come by submission. So even if she's able to get this fight into the realm of MMA where she wants it to be, which is on the ground, that's where Amroim has her most success. So I think this is a pretty clear-cut choice here. I'm going to go with Amroim getting this one done by submission. Moving on to the second fight of the card, we have Maksum versus Mitch Raposo. I'm going to go with Maksum. He's just a better fighter overall. Mitch Raposo, he's lost his last 2, albeit Maksum has as well, but they're coming against Charles Johnson and Tagiru Lembeka, 2 solid opponents. Mitch Raposo, in his last fight against Sumuderji, he didn't do much of anything in that fight. Hardly landed any strikes, consistently failed takedowns over and over. It was a really bad showing, and I think someone as well-rounded as Maksum is, with a good wrestling base, I think he's going to be able to get this one done pretty easily. Both these guys are on 2-fight losing streaks. They both need to get bounced back. I think Maksum's the considerably better fighter here. I'm going to go with him to get this one done. I'll say by decision. I could see Mitch Raposo picking up a round, maybe being able to implement the wrestling, get some control time, but I don't see how Maksum doesn't get this one done. Moving on. Look at the state of these two. Hamdi Abdelwahab versus Chris Barnett. I'm going to go with Abdelwahab. This isn't much of a difficult decision for me. Chris Barnett in his last fight, I believe his last fight was that one against Kennedy Nezachekwu, where he simply folded under his colossal weight and blew out his leg. Had to be stretchered out of the octagon and carried off by medical staff. Bad look. Very bad look for Chris Barnett. I'm going to go with the guy that can stand under his own weight. Give me Hamdi Abdelwahab. I'll go with him getting this one by KO if that's if Chris Barnett does not fall over before then. We'll go Hamdi Abdelwahab there. Moving on, the first real good fight on this card. Nathaniel Wood versus Jose Delgado. This is a sick matchup. This is a really, really fun matchup. I think both these guys should have been getting ranked fighters next, but here they are fighting each other. I could see the winner of this fight getting number 15 in the rankings. Nathaniel Wood coming off a great performance against Morgan Charrier. Jose Delgado himself coming off a really nasty knockout win over Hyder Emil. I'm going to go with Nathaniel Wood here, though. This one's a really tough one because I can see Delgado. He's the more powerful guy. He's really explosive. I could see him catching Wood, but Wood is really good. He's really good on the feet. He's also got a lot more experience. Delgado has 11 pro fights. Nathaniel Wood has 27. I just think Nathaniel Wood's the more technically refined striker here. I think he's going to get this one done by decision. I could see a moment where Delgado hurts him, though, and takes a round off him, maybe even drops Wood, gets a knockdown. But I just think Nathaniel Wood is a really, really good fighter. I think this is a big test for Jose Delgado. I think it'll be a bit too much. And I believe this is the first underdog I'm picking. I'm going to go with Nathaniel Wood here. I think he's going to get this one done. We'll move on. Walter Walker versus Louis Sutherland. Sorry. If I can get this open. Let's see. All right, no tail of the tape here. We're just going to look at it like this. Walter Walker, I think he's going to snatch up another leg, add another leg to his necklace. Louis Sutherland is getting heel hooked and submitted in the first round. I'll say in the first 2 minutes as well. Yeah, I haven't really gone through the files on Louis Sutherland. I'll admit it. I'm very sorry for that. However, he doesn't have a very pretty record. He has a few losses, albeit they were a little earlier in his career. But this is a tough debut. This is a really tough fight to get in your debut. I forget who he was originally scheduled to fight. It was recently. I know Walter Walker was scheduled to fight Mo Usman. Louis Sutherland had a fight booked recently too. So they're both ready. I won't say this is short notice for either of them. They're both prepared for a fight. Both of their fights respectively fell through, so they're matched up against each other. Walter Walker's just at another level than this guy. He's able to take care of these guys pretty easily at heavyweight. I think he's going to add Louis Sutherland to that list. So give me another heel hook submission. And I'm not sure what the odds are on DraftKings. I don't think the winning method odds have come out yet, but keep an eye out for Walter Walker by submission. See what you can get on that. Abdul Karim Al-Selwady versus Mateusz Camilo. This is the guy who beat George Hardwick on the Contender Series, if I'm not mistaken. Mateusz Camilo, I forget who he fought in his last fight, but I know he didn't look terribly good. Yeah, I'm going to go with Abdelwahab here. I think he's, or sorry, not Abdelwahab, Al-Selwady. I think he's the more explosive fighter. We saw it in his Contender Series fight. He hasn't looked great in the UFC so far, but I don't know. This is a pretty low-level fight. I'm just going to go with Al-Selwady here. I think he has more finishing potential. He's a big dude, and Camilo didn't look good in his last fight, so give me Al-Selwady. Next fight on the card, Ludovic Klein versus Mateusz Rebecki. I'm going to go with Ludovic Klein. If you've watched any Mateusz Rebecki fights, you know he's going to bring a sick scrap. So this is going to be a fun fight. However, Ludovic Klein, I think he's a more technically refined striker. I think his boxing's a lot cleaner. He has good wins on his resume too. I know he just lost to Gamrot, but I don't think that's too bad of a loss for him. That was a pretty big jump up, and he handled it somewhat well. I think he took a round of that fight. And Mateusz Rebecki, he has taken an extreme amount of damage over the course of his last few fights. He's been in war after war. And I think that's going to start to add up. And Ludovic Klein, he's a powerful dude. He's handled guys like Ignacio Bahamondes before. I think the damage that Rebecki's taken over the last few years, combined with Klein just being a better overall striker, a lot cleaner on the feet, I think he's going to get this one done. I'll go with Ludovic Klein even getting this one done by KO. I'm really betting on that damage that Rebecki's taken recently to add up in this one. Moving on, Ikram Aliskerov versus Jun Park. I was looking at the odds for the card, going up and down it. I actually saw Jun Park was a pretty sizable underdog, but I'm actually going to go with him in this one. I'm not a big fan of Ikram Aliskerov. I don't think he's all that good. Even going into that Robert Whittaker fight, I did not think he was any good. And I'm really doubling down on that take now. I know he had a bounce-back win against Andre Muniz that he got by KO, but if you look at the guys he's beat, they're not UFC level. They're just not. He beat Warley Alves. He sucks. Forget who his second win was against. Had that Whittaker fight where he got knocked out in round 1, and then he knocked out Andre Muniz, who has no chin. We just saw that in Andre Muniz's last fight as well. So Aliskerov has made a career off beating up bums in the UFC. Jun Park is a tank. He will eat shots and he will keep walking forward. I can see a world where Aliskerov wins round 1 and Jun Park just keeps trudging forward, eventually gets a takedown, starts working on the ground, starts landing some big ground and pound shots that he's known to land. I see him getting this one done by 29-28 decision. I think he'll drop that first round, and I could even see where, Aliskerov's already a big favorite going into this. I think there could be some value depending on how dominant round 1 is. If it's somewhat close, you might be able to still get Jun Park at really good odds, live betting that. I'd be all over that. I think Jun Park's going to claw his way back into this fight, as we've seen him do before. We saw him do that against Nurdiev in his last fight. He looked a little bit outmatched speed-wise on the feet against Ismail Nurdiev, but he just, and he even took a big illegal knee that really hurt him at the beginning of round 2, but he just kept working, eventually got the takedown, got him down to the ground, and just pummeled him on the ground. Aliskerov, I think he has better grappling than Nurdiev, but I think Jun Park's going to be a little bit too overwhelming as this fight goes on. I actually got the underdog in him getting this one done by decision here. Moving on to the prelim headliner, Nasrat Haqparast versus Quillan Salkilld. Also can't open this one. It seems like that in the Louis Sutherland fight against Walter Walker, they added onto the website last minute because those are pretty late notice fights. I'm going to go with Nasrat Haqparast getting this one done, though. Quillan Salkilld in his last fight against Yanal Shmuz did not look as impressive as I was hoping to see from him. It was good to see him be able to resort to the grappling when things weren't going well on the feet, but I wasn't expecting him to have as much trouble as he did on the feet with Yanal Shmuz, which I know he's a powerful guy, Yanal Shmuz, but I thought Salkilld, he'd be able to handle it. And then I know he has that knockout win in like 10 seconds over Anshul Jabli. I'm not putting that much stock into it. I don't really care about that. Nasrat Haqparast, however, I know he's very hated because he's gotten some very iffy decisions recently. Jared Gordon, Esteban Ribovic, both those decisions were pretty iffy. But if he's able to make it close with both of those guys, who I think are both a level above Salkilld based on their last performances, I think he'd be able to get it done here. I'll give him a 29-28 decision. I think Haqparast is going to get it done. It'll be a classic, very close decision that probably will have some controversy, I think. But I think Haqparast will do it enough to get it done. I think Esteban Ribovic is really good. He's not the most technically sound striker, but the pressure he puts on guys and the power and just the relentlessness. If you're able to beat a guy like that and stay composed, I think you'll be able to take care of Quillen Salkilld. So give me Nasrat Haqparast by decision in this one. Moving on to the main card opener, Alexander Rakic versus Azamat Murzakanov. I don't like Rakic. I don't like the way he fights. I hate how timid he is. And I like Murzakanov a lot. He's a bit of a small guy he's a very small guy for light heavyweight, sitting at 5'10". I'm sure he could fight at middleweight. I know he's got a big, dense frame, but he's not a very big guy at all. But man, he packs a punch, and he just seems to find those shots always. He's not the biggest guy, but he gets it done, and usually by knockout. However, in this one, I'm gonna go with Rakic, another underdog pick. I think Rakic does a good job fighting off the back foot and avoiding danger, which I know that's why I don't like him, but I think it's going to favor him quite well in this matchup. He's going up against a guy that's a lot shorter, has 6.5-inch reach advantage, or disadvantage, does Azamat Murzakanov. I just think he's going to have a hard time finding that shot that puts Rakic down. And even if he does find a way to hurt Rakic, I don't think he has that swarming finishing instinct that Yuri has, where he's able to get him out of there. So I'm going to pick Rakic to win this one. Maybe there's a moment of success for Murzakanov where he's able to hurt Rakic, but overall I think Rakic is going to play that fighting on the back foot, landing tappy low kicks, just peppering him with 1-2s. I think he'll get it done by a boring 29-28 decision. I really hope not, though, because I like Murzakanov, and I don't like the way Rakic fights. For as physically imposing as a fighter he is, he doesn't show that at all in the cage. So I would like to see Murzakanov get this one done, but I'm not banking on it. Move on to the second fight of the main card. Alexander Volkov versus Jailton Almeida. Another one that pains me. I'm going to go with Almeida here. I like Volkov a lot, however, and I think he won his last fight against Ciryl Gane. I think that was one of the worst robberies I've ever seen. However, this is a tough matchup for Volkov. I don't see him being able to KO Almeida the same way Curtis Blaydes was. Even if he's able to defend the takedown and land some elbows to the side of the head, Volkov just doesn't have that quick twitch power. He's too wiry. He doesn't really have that quick twitch pop like Blaydes does. And I'm not saying Blaydes is the most powerful guy, but he's able to generate a lot of power in those close range shots. I don't think Volkov will be able to do it. I think Almeida is going to be all over him from early on in this fight. I think he'll get him down early, and unless Volkov is able to use his length to get back up, I think Almeida is going to have a good chance of controlling him for most of this fight. I think it's going to go to a decision. I don't see seeing him submit Volkov. I think Volkov's he's progressed a lot on the ground over the course of his career. We saw that a lot in the Ciryl Gane fight. Ciryl Gane, albeit he was just chasing a Kimura from bottom position the whole time, Volkov still did a really good job of controlling him for the majority of that fight, or at least the majority of round 3. So we've seen him improve in the grappling, but I think Almeida is a different level of grappler on the ground, and I think we'll see that here. I could see a round where it stays standing on the feet for a while, but I don't think Volkov has that one-punch power to really put Almeida down. And I don't think he's going to be able to hammer with elbows like Blaydes was. I don't think he's going to be able to generate that much power. So give me Almeida win this one by decision. I'll say he banks 2 rounds from control time. And maybe there's one round where they stand on the feet and Volkov gets the better of it. But still won't make much of a difference. Give me Jailton Almeida, 29-28 decision here. Moving on to the feature fight of the card. Umar Nurmagomedov versus Mario Bautista. I'm going to go with Umar here. I think Umar's a better fighter, and Mario Bautista, his wins haven't aged the best. There was some time where I thought Damon Blackshear was a solid prospect at 135. We've since found out he wasn't, and Mario Bautista went to a really close decision with him. And also that Patchy Mix fight that he just had. You know, we saw, wow, Patchy Mix. People were talking about he can come into the UFC and he can beat Jan. He can beat O'Malley. And then Mario Bautista goes out there and beats him. So we're thinking Mario Bautista is great. But as we know now, Patchy Mix is just abysmal. So that win hasn't aged the best either. And Patchy Mix was starting to find his rhythm, his landing his shots in round 3. So, yeah, not a great look. I mean, it was still an impressive win for Mario Bautista to pretty much shut him out the way he was. But I would like to see a lot more dominance from someone if I were to be going to pick them to beat Umar Nurmagomedov. Umar's really good. I think he's the second best bantamweight in the world. Maybe you can make a case for Petr Yan, but based off of Petr Yan's fight with Merab and Umar's fight with Merab, granted, styles make fights, but they were vastly different. I think Umar is really, really good. Exceptional grappler, we all know this. He's got really nasty head kicks. I think he's going to be able to have good work on the feet here. I think he's going to be able to land really nice shots on Mario. And I think he's going to be able to outwork him on the ground. I think even if he starts to find himself in some trouble on the feet, he'll be able to get this to the ground and out-wrestle him. I think there's going to be levels shown in all aspects of MMA in this fight. Give me Umar Nurmagomedov. I don't think he's going to get the finish. He could. I could see him maybe getting a KO, but I'm not banking on it. So give me Umar in this fight by decision. Moving on to the co-main event, Vernon Jandiroba versus Mackenzie Dern. I'm going to go with Vernon Jandiroba, another underdog pick here. Mackenzie Dern, when I watch her, when she's not having a ton of success, she tends to make really stupid decisions. And I know she's a good grappler. I think Vernon Jandiroba is better, though. I think she's a better grappler. Vernon Jandiroba is really good. She showed that recently. She had that really good submission over Amanda Lemos. I know she beat Yan Xiaonan very dominantly. I think she won that fight by decision as well. If I'm not mistaken, she was on the back and she transitioned to some really nasty armbar. Vernon Jandiroba is a wizard on the ground. I know not very pleasant to look at. However, she is fun to watch fight. I actually enjoy her scrambles on the ground. She's always live for a submission threat. Mackenzie Dern's great at jiu-jitsu too. I think Jandiroba's a level above her. And I'm stunned to see her as the underdog going into this. I thought Vernon Jandiroba would pretty clearly be the favorite. I thought she'd be minus 150 or higher. But no, she's the underdog in this one. I know maybe they'll, if it's a close decision, they'll lean towards Dern because she's a little bit more marketable. I think she's the one who the UFC would like to see be the champion out of these two. However, I just think Vernon Jandiroba is better, and I'm even going to predict her getting this done by sub. I think Dern's going to find herself in some trouble in this fight. I think she's going to make a costly decision. Vernon Jandiroba is going to find a way to get this done. I'll go armbar. I'll go armbar submission. We see a lot of those in women's MMA. So give me Vernon Jandiroba, round 3 armbar submission. And moving on to the big one, literally and figuratively, Tom Aspinall versus Ciryl Gane. Heavyweight title on the line here. I'm going to go with Big Tom here. I think he's going to get it done. I think Tom's going to get it done. It's hard to pick Gane. I know there's that doubt that kind of creeps in everyone's mind. I know a lot of Tom Aspinall fans they're getting a little bit nervous just because we haven't seen Aspinall really tested. And Gane is an elite heavyweight. He is amongst the best of the best. However, I think Aspinall is different than these guys. I think he's different. He's faster. He's so light on his feet. He's so quick. And I know that's all the things we praise Ciryl Gane for. But Ciryl Gane doesn't have that element of his game where he can mix it up and take it to the ground. Tom Aspinall does. We've seen him. His takedown entries are beautiful. They're perfectly timed. And when he gets to the hips, he will bulldoze through someone, take him down. So even if there's a moment of concern where he's thinking, man, Cyril's getting the better of these exchanges, I think he's going to be able to find the takedown. And once we've seen Ciryl Gane get taken to the ground, he was controlled and held there by Volkov in his last fight. Volkov is nowhere near as good as Aspinall. Obviously, we saw Ciryl Gane's last title shot against John Jones taken down, submitted within like a minute of getting taken down. Tom Aspinall, I think he's gonna hurt him. I think he's gonna hurt him on the feet. Maybe not enough. I'll go. He knocks him down. Maybe Ciryl Gane ends up trying to get back to his feet, and as he does that, Tom Aspinall leaps onto him, finds a submission win. It's hard to imagine Gane get knocked out. I know he got dropped by Tuivasa, but man, when it comes to him against these other heavyweights, Gane just looks so much better on the feet. So it's hard to picture him getting knocked out. But if there's someone to do it, it would be Tom Aspinall. He's got those lightning quick hands. He's got the crazy devastating power. Great boxing. He's got it all. He's obviously, it goes without saying, he's the much more well-rounded fighter in this one. I got to go with Tom Aspinall here. I'm going to go round 1 submission, and I think he's going to do it after dropping Gane. I don't think it's going to be a situation where he's losing on the feet and he has to resort to the grappling. I think he's going to win the exchanges on the feet. I think he's going to beat Gane to the punch. I do worry about, Ciryl Gane's got some nice low kicks, some nice teep kicks to the body. So those could add up if this fight starts to extend into the later rounds. We also haven't seen Tom Aspinall get tested late in the fights, but it's hard to go against Tom Aspinall with this level of dominance he's shown, and especially with Ciryl Gane's last fight. I know it says right there his last fight to win, but we all know it wasn't. He lost to Volkov, and I think Tom Aspinall is not only one level above the Volkovs of the division, he's 2 levels above. I think he's different. I think he's going to continue his dominance here with a round 1 finish. So that is all my predictions for this card. Before I leave you, I want to give you guys a plus 250 parlay. I'm going to try and do every week I do these predictions, I'm going to try and do a parlay where the odds are plus 250 or better. For this one, last time I checked, it was around plus 320, if I'm not mistaken. But with that said, I'm going to go with Ludovic Klein, money line. I think he's a better striker. I think he's cleaner on the feet. I think with the amount of damage Rebecki has taken, I think he's more prone to be showing visible damage in this fight. He's also more prone to getting hurt and wobbled around. So I think Ludovic Klein's going to get this one done. So give me Ludovic Klein money line, parlayed with Werner Jandiroba money line as the underdog, which I think is crazy. I think you'll be at like plus 320 odds on that. I'll put it somewhere on the screen. But yeah, give me that. Give me Werner Jandiroba and Ludovic Klein money line. Parlay those two together, you're getting around plus 320. Good payout. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you in the next one.